And then it'll go. Yep.
Yep.
And now I guess we're officially live.
Uh,
Let me check and see if we're live on the
Me too.
YouTubes. On the
I'm
tube. Oh, we're
checking.
on the YouTubes. There he is. I see it.
Nice.
Well, Jeff, welcome back
Welcome
to the Craft
back.
Show live stream. How long? This has been the longest gap of time that we've not done any kind of live stream. And this is like epically. This is
I
a
don't
long
remember
ways
when
off.
is the last time we did one.
I don't even know. Like random from set or something. Like even.
I want to. I kind of think it might be around heirloom time,
Oh, I don't think it was
possibly.
that far back. Do you?
Oh
I
no
thought
no
we
no
no,
no
because
no no.
we did
Uh,
content back then.
we did. We definitely went live during that, but we went live after that because we shot that whole film for Panasonic and then talked about it for a while. Um,
Yeah.
I now think it is. What's the bank we did with?
Oh, Trustmark. Maybe that's
Yeah,
what it was. Yeah,
I
it
think
was
it might
maybe
be those
Trustmark.
when we were doing the anamorphics on that with the Alexa Mini.
Yeah.
I think that might be the last time we went live. I'm
Dude, I just got a picture of your desk.
oh, no.
It's something. There's like a.
It is terribly messy right now.
What I love though is you've built this thing up. It's got like all this color grade stuff, all these things, laptop in the
Yes.
middle, and then microphone and random 45. That's funny. Your light rig looks good. I like your setup.
Thank you.
I don't know if I'll post it. That's all I can show because you won't be able to really see it. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I've got those power conditioners in rack cases on the
Oh,
desk, and that's
sweet.
why it's platformed up. But I can also do all my different monitors that way.
Yeah, yeah. That's
So,
cool. That's
yeah.
awesome. It's good to see it. Hi, Robin. Thanks for joining us on the stream. I
Yeah.
apologize in advance, Robin, if you were hanging out with us in the past and like when we did live streams, or if you were just someone that watched the video. So, if, in case you didn't know, we used to do a lot of live stream content. We would talk about stuff, break things down, look at things. We have a huge, huge piece. We can't do it now because this is not the show for it. Both Jeff and I have to prepare. But one of the things that we're excited about live stream wise going forward is that Jeff and I got to go to a. I didn't realize how secretive it was until I started trying to look it up. And
Yeah.
well, cool, Robin. I'm glad to see that. Sorry, there's a lag. Obviously, I apologize, Robin. But yes, I hopped on once or two in the past. Yes, awesome. Welcome back. Thank you for being here. Listen, I'd love for you to. I'm going to make an email, and I'll get you back for this. I'll try and send you an inbox or something. Since you're an old school, at some point you need to come be on the show with us.
Absolutely.
You can actually do it right now. I can post a link in this, and you can join as a studio member. And then once you're inside as a studio, you can actually click a button to ask to be on the show if you feel like coming on and talking for whatever reason. Maybe we'll experiment with it. We don't know what we're doing. This is just the first kind of a test, and we said let's just go. Anyway, so Jeff and I got to go to this camera test. It was extremely like it's. I don't want to make it sound like we're some kind of big wigs because we used a favor to get in there, but it
Yeah, we're
was
not.
no right. Yeah,
We do have a friend that's kind of somewhat bigwig.
got it,
That
Robin. Thank you. Now
that
I know you. Yeah.
everybody has met him before that has watched some previous.
Yeah, yeah, they've all,
Horse has been
yeah,
on here.
yeah, he sure has. Horst is now, interestingly enough, Horst is now an executive with Universal. So we ended up getting an opportunity to view this thing called HBO Camera Assessment. I don't want to talk too much about this. We're going to do a whole stream on it.
Yes.
We probably won't be able to show examples. It's just going to be descriptions because if you go try and look up the footage, I can't find any footage on it at all,
I haven't been
like
able to either.
whatsoever. Yeah.
I have found small. We might be able to post old tidbits because I found a couple little, like 10, 15-second things of like 3 or 4 years ago, kind of stuff.
Right.
But nothing from the one that we were at, which I kind of wish we could because there's one camera in particular I'd love to show that blew me away in terms of just what it did. I guess
Yeah.
there's a couple of them that actually did, but one of them's getting a lot of talk right now.
Yeah, yeah, and so that's the thing is like we got to see some stuff that was brand new, not been seen, and we should. That's a long live stream that is definitely I'm currently on a Whole 30 where I can't have any beverages, so I've got to have a beverage prepared for that one. That's a long one. I'd love to bring like Fagan in for some of that. Maybe even
Yes.
Scott,
Yeah.
Balcomir,
I would love
Robin,
Scott for that
anybody.
one.
Oh yeah, sorry, Robin, stand by.
Oh, you made it a
No, it's
forbidden
me.
door.
Yeah, it's a forbidden door. It has a. I might not be able to do it this time, buddy, if I can't get it to work. We're set up on Riverside as a private. Let me see if I can change it. General, maybe. There it is. Try it again, Robin, if you'd like.
I need to put my refrigerator in this room so I can just grab a beer when I want.
I know it's back to that stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
we're all the way back, all the way down into the full circle of it. So anyway,
Yeah.
I'm in a new digs. Jeff's in a new space. Jeff is in North Carolina.
Yeah.
We have an office up there. What has that been? What's been the North Carolina gag like?
Right now, I'm just going to say North Carolina. I'm going to make you jealous
Yeah, piss off.
because I left and it's real feel 125 down there. Real feel this morning at 11 o'clock was 78 degrees.
Yeah, yeah,
So
you're a
I
piece
had
of garbage.
I had a nice little coffee outside today. But it's good up here. I just got done in Georgia. I'm actually was in the process of grading that with some very new DaVinci 18.5 sky replacement pieces.
Ah, there we go. Oh, that's what I'm
Yeah.
interested about for
It's
sure.
well, we're going to talk about that tomorrow. Not
Yeah.
on the live stream, but internally we'll have that discussion. It is all AI'd.
Really?
Yeah, you do not have to have a sky to replace it with. It will generate the sky. What color you
Based
want it
on
to
your
be.
footage?
No, it kind of yes, kind of goes
Okay.
off footage, kind of doesn't, because it also you can put more clouds into it if you want, or less clouds. You can. It's weird. And I'll show
That's
you
very
what I was
interesting.
doing it on in our stuff because it can look really bad, but it also can look amazingly good.
All right, I'm going to bring Robin in just
Yeah.
because this is the fun of the show, is that we can do stuff.
Exactly.
Hello, hello.
Hello,
What's
Rob.
up, my man?
How y'all doing today?
Good. How are you?
Doing great.
The guest has
What?
the best setup out of all of us right now.
That's how it's supposed to be. That's how
know
it's
it
supposed to be.
It works perfectly.
Yeah, I've been following you guys for like a while. I think the first video I saw from y'all was like an Atmos Sumo review a while back.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah,
then I saw that, I watched it, and then it was like 6 or 8 months after that, I saw some like behind the scenes stuff y'all were doing, and I saw like the RSA tower, and I'm like, are they in Mobile?
right.
And so I'm like, oh my god, these guys are local. So yeah, I think I was I remember I tried to come meet you guys while y'all were filming at like South Alabama one time because I was a student
think
there
so.
at the time, and so but by the time I got over there, I think y'all already gone.
Yeah, I don't remember which one it was because we did a bunch of stuff for South. Now, ironically, USM is our client, and
Oh, wow.
so Southern Miss is a client, and as opposed to South took most everything in house is what they ended up doing, which is it's an interesting topic of conversation. So Jeff, Robin and I were talking recently because he's putting together a little bit of a. I don't want to spoil it. Can I talk about what we
yeah,
talked
yeah,
about a
go
little
ahead.
bit? Yeah. He's putting together a nice little G&E package. He's
nice.
obviously a producer, video content creator, filmmaker. So we were just trading stories and like, hey man, let's figure out how to do some stuff and work together. Robin, have you noticed now that how long have you been out of school?
I graduated in 2020.
Okay. Oh God. Wow. What a time to graduate.
Yeah, it
know,
was
exactly.
interesting.
Jesus, man. Well, the reason I bring that up is like, have you noticed one of the things that we found, and we've hybridized, like, we started out as a production company and now we're more of what we call a production agency, meaning,
Yeah.
we work like an ad agency. We supply everything an ad agency can do. We just do it. I arguably think better because we don't have to outsource our video. Like, or if we do, I can vet the video guys. Like I can be like, oh, I like Robin. Robin can shoot this really well. He's got a great eye for, right? And I don't have to go through all the ringer. So anyway, so we have an advantage. But have you noticed a lot more companies, like when you go out and talk to jobs, have you seen the market where people have taken stuff more in-house, or do you feel like the freelance market is still fairly strong?
Honestly, I've been kind of out of the production game. When I graduated, my degree was like not even in like media production or anything. It was in like math and physics, and I was working as like a software engineer.
Sick.
But then that was like, I got used to like working for myself for so long because I've been shooting since like 2016. And so I was like, I need to get back into this.
No, I totally
Nice.
get it.
Yeah.
I just think it's an interesting. How's it been jumping back in? When did you jump back in officially? This year?
It like literally like I made the decision like last month when I like quit my job, and now it's just like trying
wow.
to
Yeah.
drum up some work, and then once I already I've been working on my gear package I want to put together, and then as soon as I like start booking some clients, I'll go ahead and pull the trigger on it.
Yeah, it's a little tricky too because it's down here. It's been at least in our sector, so everyone knows. Jeff is from the city, not currently here, but me and Robin share the same sort of ecosystem. And one of the challenges that we run into, the bigger one, and because like Jacob and some other guys, is like being able to be smart with your money. And I know that that's a lot of times people don't want to hear that on a tech podcast, but it's the reality. Like if you want to know how to scale your business, the number one way is to not spend money. It's to like operate with as little debt as possible. Jeff and I had Reds. We did all that stuff. We made both mistakes and benefits, but like we went down that path. And so it's like finding the right gear, which is interesting because we changed when we teased this idea of this camera assessment thing that we got invited to, and that literally changed our entire mentality. I think if all filmmakers could somehow see that, I wish they would make it public somehow. Mm-hmm. But if we could somehow see that or replicate it, which is something me and Jeff have teased, dude, you would change your mind on cameras like 10 times. And you'd be wait a second, there isn't, because there's really not like a camera killer. There's not a Red killer. There's not a Canon killer.
There's not.
Yeah. That
you
used
start
to be
all
my
amazing
mindset
cameras.
was like always like I was super camera because I'm like I love tech, and so like shooting
Yeah, of
on
course.
Red was like always like my like that's what I wanna do one day. But then that's kind of where my strategy is for like getting gear now is at first I was like because I was planning on putting a good bit of money into it that I had saved up from like my software engineering work. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get the V Raptor or something. But then I kind of like started scaling back when I realized all the other like essential things that I needed.
Yep.
And so my focus
Yep.
now is more on like getting like really good audio, really good like grip and like lighting, because that stuff is like will last me like the rest of my career, you know. Whereas like a camera body might last me like 2 or 3 years before the new thing is out.
Oh yeah, I mean not this mic, but like our boom mics are these
That's
Rode
what I was gonna say, too.
NTG9s. Yeah, they're vintage and they keep going. And a 416 will last you a lifetime.
Oh, yeah.
Lavalier kits won't, because they'll change frequencies. Like we all ran into that. You weren't you got to dodge that bullet, but some of us had to rebuy all of our lav gear, and because of the frequency shift. So there's been a lot of stuff, and for COVID, yeah, that too. Lenses don't go out of fashion. You know what I mean? Like a lens holds. So that's good business thinking. I mean, and that's what we've tried to talk to people about. Sometimes it's not the hot and sexy to be like, save your pennies. But when it comes time to go shoot something and you're like, oh, I don't have to worry about it. I'm going to play with, we were talking about this. I had to bring it up to a client. Jeff and I shot basically a never going to be seen. I mean, it will be, but it's so small. We shot a video. The client had the budget. They let us shoot on Master Prime Anamorphics. But here's the thing. There was no people in it. There was interviews, but primarily, it was docu style and it was empty spaces. So we got to film with and we literally had to fight Marvel to rent those lenses. Like that's not bullshit. That's not hyper. And so my point is we had the budget to say we've saved up enough money, right? So the budget, could we have made more money if we'd not rented those lenses? Absolutely. But we both really wanted to shoot on those lenses. Yeah. So it's the same way with cameras. Like if you do that right and you save up a little money, then you can be like, ooh, I'm going to test the Red Raptor, which is a fantastic camera, by the way. I really enjoyed it. Or you know, I'm gonna rent a Alexa 35, or I mean, God forbid, that's an expensive rental, but whatever it might be. But you can do it because you're looking at your P&L, you're looking at your profit and loss against, and you're like, oh, dude, I can make money off this either way. That kind of stuff. Yep. It's like sometimes you got to make a box so you can have more fun. That's all I'm saying.
Absolutely.
Now, who are you jamming on now? Go ahead, Jeff. I'm sorry.
I was just gonna say I still would like to shoot on an F30 or an Alexa 35 as well.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Or the Sony
It'd be fun
Venice.
just
I would still like the Venice too.
Well, because we know things that we can't talk about yet.
Oh,
But I mean,
Venice.
Have
Venice
you,
is awesome.
Got some y'all played around with the Venice?
We haven't played with it yet.
the camera assessment test stuff that we got to see was what shocked us. And I can't talk too much more about it. I want to, but I got to set up for the show.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this, Robin. Who are you? Do you still follow anybody on YouTube on the regular? Is there anybody that stands out now where you're like, man, I never miss this content? If it's gear related or tech related, or is it, for me, it's just become a giant grab bag of whatever thumbnail catches my eye.
Yeah, like do you mean specifically for filmmaker content? Because I kind of like have like a broad range of like
No, anything you think's worth it, I think is worth having the conversation.
yeah. So one of my favorites, Linus Tech Tips. I've got like all of his merch on me right now. That's for like tech stuff. And MKBHD is another like tech
Yeah.
YouTuber, and
Yep.
he is the biggest Red fanboy of them all. But like his stuff is always fantastic.
Yeah, Market, he's been around for a while, so I've seen a lot of his stuff. I go to him when I want to see what his take on an Apple review will be, because I'm not a huge Apple fanboy, but
Yeah, same.
I've recently had to switch. That's a whole episode of the podcast too. But I had to recently
that will be.
switch, and it's been actually kind of nice. I even started looking, and I watched his videos. I don't think I watched any Linus, but I watched his videos and a couple other guys on. I started looking at Mac Studios versus Mac Minis because I'm not buying a $15,000 cheese grater. It's just not happening. It's just not worth the money. I have a trash can somewhere like in a drawer over here.
Oh,
The
wow,
old black trash
can.
cans, yeah.
Yeah.
Old trash.
I mean, we cut
Cut
3
graded.
features on it.
Wow.
4 features.
4.
Yeah. So
Four
it did the
short.
job,
Yeah.
but you can't update it. So anyway,
Yeah.
that's good. There's a guy I came across that I'm only sharing because he's an audio guy, and his stuff is like super. It is about physics, so it's maybe in your wheelhouse a little bit. And his name is the Society of Sound. I'll find it. Give me a second. But it's the guy is just random AF, and his stuff is super, super, super funny. But he's really good. Like, and when he goes into his tech stuff, it's like deep. I mean, it's like super deep. He does a fantastic job with it. Let me see if I can find him.
Another good one is
I have a lot of subs.
I don't know if he's posted anything in a while, but have you heard of Steve Geralt?
I have not.
Yeah, he does. He has this kind of I don't know if he coined the term, but visual engineer. So he does like mostly product and like beverage food commercials. But he uses one of the Bolt robotic arms. And they
Oh,
build
sick.
like, all sorts of like rigs and contraptions for like flinging things in the air, and they shoot like on a Phantom. And
Oh, that's sick.
That's the stuff that I'm trying to move into, but I was initially going to go head first into that, but then I was like, well, it's a completely different set of stuff to get, like the robotic arm itself is like 40 grand or something like that. And so
Yeah.
I wanted to start off with just like, I can do videos for businesses to start off with and then slowly build up to something like that.
No, that's good. I mean, if you can get to that point, I mean, it's the best thing ever is like starting small, building those accounts, building those ones, and then, I mean, the business is going to take you where the business takes you. It's not that to say that like somebody that's not still working in it has failed. It's more the idea that the business changed. I mean, that's the reality. It's changed for us. Obviously, COVID was a weird one. We actually benefited from COVID from a financial standpoint. I'm not saying that, not making light of any of that, but like we've talked about it a little bit. Like we picked up some big clients during COVID because video became an essential way to communicate, and we were
Right.
just there to be able to take it over.
Absolutely.
I'm trying to find this guy's link for you because I think you would enjoy it. And I probably saved on my other account.
Yeah.
I'll see if I can find it. I'll talk about him. I'll share him back in here. His stuff was like, I mean, he was talking about mic play. It was like an excellently made video with talking about the physics of mic placement. And I learned a ton. There was things I didn't know. I'm not an audio engineer type guy, but he went through all of that stuff. I mean, it was sick. It was really good.
Oh, awesome.
See if we can grab onto it. Yeah. Is there anything else that stands out to you in the world? I think it's interesting to be able to talk to somebody on the other side of it. Is there anything that stands out to you right now that's like man, you got to see this kind of thing?
I can think of it at the moment. No. The Steve Geralt stuff, probably back to that. If you haven't seen any of his videos, I would definitely check those out, because they're just, it is mind blowing. It looks like it just should, it's like it's all like CG, but like they actually
Sick.
shot it practically. Yeah.
Love it. Is there anything you want to talk about your gear? Do you want any opinions? These people will light you up in here if you ask it.
Yeah. So I'm thinking, I guess I can talk about like the what I'm looking at right now. Mostly camera is like red Komodo with like a black magic pocket as like a beat camera. Some the Sigma Cine Primes, or not Cine Primes,
Nice.
the Cine Zooms, just like the 18-35 and then 50E to 100 for a couple lenses, and then a good bit of aperture, pretty much all aperture lights, like some of the what is it, F22 panels, like the flex matte panels, some
Yep.
600Ds, a Nova, and then a 1200D, and then a lot of just like grip odds and ends, some 8x, 6x, mostly like Matthews stuff. And honestly, the thing I'm most excited about is getting a van and like a dedicated like grip cart and a head cart for all like the lights, so I don't have to like
That's it.
pack things into the back of a of like an SUV and try to like do 10 trips back and forth. You know, I could just like roll a couple carts off and then everything's there.
Yeah, I would. That's great. That's a good gear list for sure. I would not shortchange any 300Ds. The reason I bring that up is because a lot of times Mobile has a ton of interview spots, and a lot of these clients, when you're early on, are not going to give you the space to roll a bunch of lights in. I know your light panels could do that, your flat mats. I just found that for us, we have some of the mats too, but we ended up finding the 300Ds being very, very, very good for that kind of stuff. Just FYI.
Awesome. Yeah, actually, I have a 300D like lighting me right now with the softbox. Right there, he goes.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, nice. Yeah, they're good. They're good. I was telling Jeff, I have this like new rig set up in my office, and so I literally have two old Kinos. Like I don't even
Wow.
use Kino flows anymore, but it's the old tubes. So I just have like a salt and pepper, a 50-50 mix. But same thing is like busting out the old Kinos just to be like, hey, I'm gonna ramp them up. That's cool though. That's a good rig. The vehicle is going to make a big difference. I will tell you that much. Me and Jeff learned that a long time ago. There's I wish I had footage of all the craziness that like the shit we used to pack into an Xterra and drive across the country, and it was nuts
Oh yeah, it's a
and
pain.
miserable.
Yeah, I'm kind of gonna.
for
My
sure.
plan is to have kind of like a kind of like two tiers of like, 'cause, you know, not everyone's gonna want me to bring in like a 1200D and a big 8x frame or something to shoot an interview. Love to do it. I'll absolutely do it. You know, looks gorgeous, but you know, for that I'll probably have like a lighter weight kind of lighting setup and try to fit it all on like one cart, preferably like camera, lighting, and everything.
Yeah, there you
And
go.
then
Yeah.
bigger shoots, you know, bring out a separate grip cart, head cart, and camera cart.
That's good. There's also another guy here locally that have you ever met Bernie Sawyer? His company's called Wizard Daddy. He's another G&E guy. He's a bigger, I mean, he's got big trucks. He's got like film style stuff. The reason I bring it up is because there's a lot of stuff that you're going to have that may complement. So you might get some rental work off of that too.
Oh, awesome.
So, and Bernie takes care of gear. I wouldn't send you to somebody that didn't. So, so anyway, he has a lot of jobs that come through as well. Obviously right now the film industry is a total
Yeah.
shit show, but once they get back on their feet and everything kind of bounces back, hopefully everybody will be working and get you a little extra cash that way.
Gotcha. What was his name again?
Wizard Daddy Productions is the name of the company. And I'll share his info with you on LinkedIn. His name is Bernie Sawyer,
Oh, okay.
or Aubrey Sawyer, I think is what he goes. Bernie's his nickname, I guess.
Gotcha. Oh wow.
Yeah.
What is that? Like an 18K on his site?
Yeah, he's got
That's some
he's got
old
a
school
lot.
stuff.
Yeah, he's got a lot of stuff. He's got a bunch of newer stuff. He has a bunch of sky panels and all kinds of new RE stuff.
Nice.
So he was not an aperture guy. He was like, that stuff's garbage.
Yeah, I know.
And then, yeah,
We
Jeff
changed
was
him.
there for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like in like the 120D, like when the 120D came out, I kind of like understand that. I have one of those too, and it's actually broken now. Like I can actually use
Yeah.
it if it's at 100%, but if I put it down any lower, it starts like flickering. But
Ooh.
Yeah, once the 300D came out, like everything from there has just been like the quality's just gone through the roof. Like the 600 Pros are like those things are like built solid. I see this all over the place.
It's almost as if they had to get like they got bona fide. Like they just needed somebody to show that they were gonna like they used everyone that bought the 120s. They funded the rest of the company, and then they started putting out a better product because they could rent. It's good stuff. Like I have no issue with any of it. Jeff didn't get to play with them. I rented because I'm a big believer in rent before you buy. But I rented the new MC Pros that come in the. I rented the 18 pack. Dude, I had some fun. Like I was lighting all kinds of random shit with those. They were fantastic.
Oh yeah. One little trick I learned with those is actually get a magnet and then using it's not gaff tape. I think it's called paper tape. And it's kind of like gaff tape doesn't leave residue though. And you just like if you go up on like a ceiling or something, tape the magnet to the ceiling with paper tape, and then you just stick them on.
Yeah. We did those. The new ones are a little bit. The new MC Pros, the brand new ones, are a little bit heavier. They have a better output. The other thing that we use instead of paper tape that's actually cheaper than paper tape, believe it or not. And by paper tape, make sure if anybody listening to this, you actually get cinema style paper tape, not painter style paper tape. There's a huge difference.
There's a difference.
Yeah. Yeah. Painter style paper tape that has no stick. It'll fall. But you can get the command strips. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like it's like a little piece of Velcro. Those will hold MC Pros up all day long. And we actually, they come in those little packs, like the MC Pros have like a little pouch they come in, or the case or whatever it might be. We just put a bunch of command strips. You just stick it to the back, stick it to the wall, and it doesn't leave any residue. So you can like peel it right off. People are happy at the end of it.
Gotcha.
So yeah, they're good. But good tip on the magnet part too. It's smart.
Yeah.
Smart way to do
I was
it.
curious, are y'all going to be at there's like the Chamber of Commerce here is having like an expo tomorrow. Are y'all going to be at that?
We will not be. Well, I will not be. Jeff will not be, but my team will be somewhere around there. We did a table a couple of times, and that was one of those ones. I met a really great filmmaker there named Jacob. That was one of those ones where I just couldn't see the value in like there's people there that go all out and set up these huge video production rigs. Or truss. They have not really rigs. They just have a bunch of truss and other stuff. And there's like 300 people walking around with cameras on gimbals and doing all that stuff. But the reality of it is like not a ton of them are they're kind of just there hanging out. They're not necessarily offering any kind of service. Not to sound like a dick, but to sound like a dick.
Yeah, I remember I did.
So it's
yeah. Go ahead.
No. I go please.
Yeah, I did like one of those kind of like I guess kind of like an expo for like weddings a while back, and it was like I didn't book a single thing from it. It was just that's why I'm not setting up a booth or anything tomorrow. I'm just going to kind of go there and talk to other people at their booths and see if anyone's interested in video production from that.
No, that's good. That's smart. I mean, we picked up 2 or 3 clients from that last time. We just hung out and we did that kind of thing. It especially getting started. That's something me and Jeff didn't do a lot of. We networked on our own, but we didn't do that. The other option too, of course, is to go to agencies and propose yourself. I mean, you just have to be able to walk in. Yeah, we did a lot of that. We did a lot of pimping.
You got to be willing to get a lot of no's, but at the same time, you can make some really good connections that way.
Yeah. I was reaching out to, what was it, Bluefin or
Bluefish?
Yeah. I was trying to reach out to them, but it seems like a lot of the local agencies around here, at least, like most of them, it seems they do video production, not necessarily very well, but they like offer it. And so, I'm
Bluefish has a lot of stuff in house. They have an in-house producer that's a friend of the show, rather.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Jared's a nice guy. They don't do a ton of video. They're mostly a web, at least as far as I know, they're mostly a web company.
Yeah.
However, what I would suggest is that you reach out to I would look up the ad agencies that show video and have more of a little more, because Bluefish does, like I said, a lot of web stuff. They do some video and they do agency stuff, but like I would look at Lewis and Hummingbird.
Yeah.
Mighty's not here anymore, but per se. I'm trying to think of who else. Proxy PR, that's another one. I would hit them up. JJPR is another one. I would hit all them up, just because there are other agencies that in the past have, if they have something come along, they might throw it at you. Just be wary of the old agency tactic. This is pro tip for anybody out there that's getting started. The agency tactic of the fish hook. So what they'll do is they'll be like, hey, listen, Robin, I've got this shoot coming up. Here's the script, and you read it and you're like, cool. And they're like, and the budget's about $2,000. And you're like, okay, all right. That's not great, but we'll figure it out. And then you agree to it. And then a script comes along that is a scope change. And you're like, oh, this looks like you need 2 days of filming now. And they're like, yeah, it may be a little bit more, but since you already said you could do it, we just went ahead and went with it. This is all real stuff that's happened.
Yeah.
And then you'll be like, oh, but I mean, I got to charge for that. And they're like, well, we just don't have it. I don't know what you want us to do. We just don't have it. And so part of the game that's being played is that if you think about an agency as a middle person, so there's a third party. So you have to make a choice. And the choice at that point is either you say, hey, I appreciate it. I'm not going to be able to do it. Let me see if I can find somebody who can, which is never great because that means if somebody's going that far under your budget, you know, if they've changed it, it's probably going to get worse. Or you say, all right, I guess I can do it this time. And they'll be like, oh, yeah, this time is great. It won't happen again. Next time we'll really get you set up well. They will never set you up well next time, ever.
Yeah.
They won't.
That's why
So
I'm very particular about like when I like write up my contracts for like scope of work. I always say like, you know, up to X days of filming.
Right.
Editing, I kind of do a flat rate, but I try to like describe what's explicitly like what's included in editing, so they don't come back and, you know, like say, oh, we need to add like an extra 2 minutes to the final edit, and it's like, well, no, you gotta look at the contract. That's extra.
Yeah,
And also make sure you're go ahead, Jeff. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, make sure that you put a certain round of revisions in your contract.
Yeah,
too.
yeah, I usually do 2 as standard.
Yeah.
Yeah, rounds of revisions is the big one because that's the scope creep
you'll
master.
also, you'll get those creeps that
It's like, hey, can you
Lay
change
out-
this? Okay, change
Yeah.
it. Can you change this other thing? And it's like, well, you could have
Yes.
mentioned that in the first one, but okay.
exactly.
So it's like, you gotta
Yeah.
make a whole list. Let's not do it one at a time.
And so, I mean, that's the biggest takeaway I could ever give anybody is just what we shared on that side. I mean, you've got a good contract. That's good. You stand behind it, but just be ready to know that a little bit of it is, a little bit of the game to be played is like, you're going to take some hits somewhere because that's part of the game, but you just need to mitigate in your mind the risk of taking those hits. That's why I say don't overextend yourself on the financial side at first, because if you can build up to it and if you can operate if you can get to a point where you can operate where the debt threshold is very low, meaning like, you know, of a job, if 25% of your job goes to your debt, that's kind of high. But if you can get it down to like 10, 15 at the most percent of your job goes towards paying down your debt, and that helps, that's good. But if it's 40 or 50% of your debt ratio, that is bad juju. And a lot of people do that because they buy a $60,000 camera, they overextend themselves, and
they
then all of a sudden they have
finance it?
all this. Oh yeah. big
Oh
time.
yeah, I don't think I would ever finance a camera. I financed my house, and that's about it. I guess I
That's
got
it.
a lease for a car. So besides that, I try not to keep.
Yeah,
my
that's
debt if I
right.
can.
Yeah. Zero debt. Because I mean, you never know what's going to happen. And I don't feel like we're in a big recession because we're blessed to be busy. Jeff and I are upside down in work.
Yeah, we're not,
But-
but I do know quite
Yeah.
a few people that are,
Yeah. But we have other friends. that
especially
are-
when it
that
comes to
deal
the
with
film
it.
industry people right now.
Right.
Absolutely. And then just make as many connections as you can. I saw Mr. Pickles popped into
Yes,
the
I
old.
did.
Yeah,
Also, Billy popped in.
I saw that, Mr. Billy Bacon.
Yeah.
Well, Robin, I'm gonna punch you out, and then me and Jeff will chat a little bit longer. Why don't you, and since we're here, and I don't really care this how transparent we are, why don't we make sure we get together at some point relatively soon?
Yeah.
You can come by the office for a coffee and hang out, or we can go to Nova. I don't know where you are in town, but
I'm
we can figure something
closer
out.
to like West Mobile out on Schillinger, but yeah, I could definitely head
Okay,
down
that's
there
where we are.
sometime.
We're
Yeah, you're perfect.
we're off
okay.
of University. Yeah,
Oh,
we're not far
perfect.
from you.
Sweet.
Yeah. So I'll just coordinate with you offline, and then we'll go from there, and let's get together at least to have a coffee, figure some stuff out, see what we can do. Because I mean, if you've already got space, then I've already got jobs for you. So
Oh, sweet. Fantastic. Awesome.
yeah.
Awesome. Well,
Cool.
well, I'll talk to you later, man.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
All right. Have a good
Yeah,
day.
thanks,
Bye.
Rob.
Cheers. That was cool. Yeah,
super
he and I were talking. Yeah, Yeah, he and I were talking a good bit on LinkedIn. I don't use
Nice.
LinkedIn very much. He seemed to be way more knowledgeable at it than I am.
I use it so very, very little now.
Yeah, I'm
I
terrible at
started
it,
with
man.
it. All I see now is just reposts from other people as notifications. And then that one of our sound friends is taking a whole lot of free courses on LinkedIn. That's really all I see.
Oh yeah, is it sharing them or something? I didn't realize.
Yeah, it's sharing them.
Oh, that's funny.
Yep.
That's so funny. I wish I could find the sound guy. I wanted to send him to. I wish I could. I'm gonna have to pull it up and share it because when I was watching it last night. By the way, the guy we're talking about in the live stream is a producer. We call him Mr. Pickles.
Yes.
He has a guy that works with him. They do fantastic animation work. Jim is a fantastic producer, but he has a partner and they do this incredible animation. We'll show some of it when we talk about, maybe we'll talk about that on one of the shows coming up. But the fun thing was the guy who does the sound podcast has me and Jim's sense of humor, really abstract and weird, but he kind of looks like an amalgamation of you, Jeff Worley, me, Mr. Pickles, and Mr. Fritzy, like all together in one human
okay.
being. It's really bizarre, but he's
Awesome.
really fun. So it's worth a listen to it.
Before you said Fritzy, I was going to see if we could get him a double cola.
Oh, no double colas, man. That stuff's terrible.
It really is. Jesse, who I worked with, is a LinkedIn fiend. Okay.
Yeah,
Pickles.
yeah. See, I don't know. I don't
I'm
know
gonna
how
have
to
to
do
start
it.
calling Pickles again because Ahsoka is starting next week, and I have a feeling I'm gonna need somebody to talk to about that.
Well, he's gonna be angry. He's gonna be.
I think
He
I
may
am.
not even watch
I'm
it.
not sure.
He may not. He may
I'm
not
really
watch
sure.
it. I think I'd love to have Horst on at some point. Maybe he can be a regular.
I've already asked, and he said he
Okay.
would.
Oh, great. I'd love for him to talk about, virtual production a little bit, because there's
I have
so
another one,
much
too.
misconception. Yeah.
AI before, since I know he's been.
No, he
dealing
gets
with it.
fired up though. He
I
gets
know
so
he
mad.
does. But in our industry, that's a big subject.
I get it.
He's
I just
definitely in that spot.
I just don't know if I'm on the same page as everybody else. I'm starting to feel like it's not as conspiratorial as other people are making it out to be. I'm kind of feeling like it may not be that conspiratorial. Like, I don't know
I
if they're
think
going to
it's
take
gonna
over
be
the
a very
world.
useful tool.
No, I agree. I totally agree.
I actually already use certain pieces of it in our business as well.
Yep. Same.
Uh,
I generate a lot of stuff with Midjourney. So what do I know?
Oh, he's going to dip it. All right, I'm calling you. Still got like 10
All right.
days or something for it, though. Another
Yeah.
thing, going back to YouTube things also, because I didn't mention it, for anybody, and I will mention this multiple times probably, Colin Kelly might be the best DaVinci color-wise YouTube channel out there.
Colin
is-
Kelly?
Colin Kelly. Cullen Kelly.
Oh, Colin Kelly.
Yes.
Got it.
He is very
Your Yankee accent's gotten in the way.
very good instructional wise.
Oh, sick.
Yeah,
Okay.
he talks it out pretty well.
Oh, badass.
Yeah.
If you have any ideas or shows or other YouTube channels that are great to watch, throw them in the comments. Part of what we want to do, I'm hoping, is I can reach out to some of these YouTubers. We can have conversations with them, just talk through stuff. I think it would be fun to do a little more collab stuff. We didn't do a lot of that early on. I wish we would have, but maybe now we can. I'm sure they all have better audience numbers than we do. Who cares? That's not why we're here. We do this because we love having the hangouts. We talk like this anyway. We might as well record it or stream it or whatever the hell.
Pretty much.
Yeah, we're just not playing Call of Duty, but
Or watching wrestling.
we're watching wrestling, which is almost time for, so I need to
It
get
is
home.
almost time.
If there's anything else you want us to talk about or you have questions of stuff, throw it in the comments down below. I did say early on, we probably won't talk a lot about GH5s and Panasonics, not because we're anti them by any means, but they are somewhat. We did shoot something with Panasonic that we should talk about, but they're not necessarily part of our workflow. And although I think it's fun to talk about cameras, that won't be the primary emphasis of this syllable on this show. Is we want to talk a little bit more about broader strokes. We want to talk about more post-production, more tools and tricks and technology that's changed. Maybe we'll talk about movies and content as we see them. I mean, we could do a whole thing on how the Bears may be the greatest piece of content to ever exist as a filmmaker. Like if you're not watching that show, you're missing on some of the greatest inspiration ever. There's a lot we can talk about.
Yeah, I definitely don't want it to be strictly camera related anymore. It's definitely worth noting, though, I think, especially with how fast that side moves. But even post production moves super fast now. It seems like especially since AI has become such a valuable tool. But there's so many different things that have popped out so fast. There's also things I just don't like.
No, I'm with you. I mean, there's a lot that I don't like.
Me too. But then you have these other not small tidbits, but like Avid being sold. What the hell is that going to do to the whole entire industry?
Yeah, that's pretty disruptive in a bad way. I don't necessarily know if that's a great thing.
It could be great. It could be terrible. It could just be kind of some of the same.
No, fair point. Fair point.
Yeah, I mean, if they make it more user accessible, which I know is not one of the key factors for a lot of the big time editors that use it, but they could grow faster, like DaVinci did. But they could also lose a lot of their people that way. It's interesting. They could also just go by the wayside like Final Cut. I seriously doubt it because it's Avid, but it's possible.
Yeah. No, you're right. You're totally right. Just checking the comments before we kind of wrap it up here.
Yep.
Yeah. Yes, technically. I can't reach it. Hold on, let me grab it. I'll show you a piece of fan fiction. If I could get to it. Hold on. This will be awkward as fudge.
If it's about watching fan fiction stuff, I have not been watching any of it lately. I should get back onto it because there's actually some really good creators out there.
There's some piece of fan fiction that just dropped. There was some movie I saw, some Star Wars related one that just dropped. I have not seen it. Don't know what it is.
I gotcha.
But I saw it drop. Fan fiction wise for us, I can hold up this framed Mamba Jamba. This guy.
Oh yeah. That's
so.
Definitely...
That's all the way back from a film we made called Heirloom, but it was a fan fiction. It was a Uncharted fan fiction film. Is what we essentially did. We basically made Uncharted mixed with. This is pre-pandemic. It would be like, what would Nate do? In fact, the character's name was Nate. What would Nate do in a pandemic? Is essentially what happened.
Then we had a pandemic.
And then we had one for real. Yeah. So that's what that essentially was. I haven't touched any fan films afterwards. Creative said nice. I remember that. I haven't touched anything afterwards just because anyone who is a fan filmmaker, fan fiction filmmaker, I not only tip my hat, but I give you the biggest kudos because you're driving on something that I'm a little bit, if I'm being really candid with you, that I'm envious of. And that is to say, fan fiction filmmakers are driving and are completely motivated by passion. Yeah. And I'm not saying it died within me because I'm still very passionate, but I wish I still had that strong word, folks, where I fucked up in my life is I let producing change, guide my artistic sense. That was a huge fuck up I made. It's important because now I have a successful business. So I'm not saying that it's wrong.
That's true.
I mean, if you're making fan films, you're doing that based on passion. That's your primary fuel. And maybe your desire is to go work in the industry, but reality of it is most fan films are just kind of set aside, except for the people who love it. And that's just an awesome rare breed. So shout out to all of them.
I think that's the way that I'm going to shout out Fagan here because I think that's how he kind of got his way in to more of the film industry side of it, was doing those Star Trek ones.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, he did do those, and then that broke him in, and I think he did well, but I feel like he could have done more. He could do better, and he could go stronger. Jeff Fagan's extremely talented, so sometimes the downside is if you're trying to show me your content and there's a lot of fan fiction in it, I don't know why. Not me, but if I were looking as creative director, I'd be like, oh, cool, you shot some fan fiction. It doesn't. I don't know why it's denigrated to some way, but it seems like some people may take it that way. That's all. Good shit.
Yeah.
Great conversation. Creative. I can't do it now, but at some point, if you ever want to come be on the show, you should come be on and just talk. Like that's the whole point. The thing that we said we were going to do, we already did in this first episode,
Yeah,
is
we
that
did.
we want to bring it back. We want it to be about the people. This should be a conversation for all of us. I'll never shut the fuck up unless you guys like join the stream anyway, because we know Jeff is a man of very thoughtful words.
That has also, neither one of those have changed.
If we
All
get
I
Mr.
gotta
Pick
do-
on here,
Get
good.
Mr. Pickles on here, and I maybe when I come back down, I
Well,
could bring it.
there it is.
I have. I don't have something as good as we did the one time, but I could potentially bring something that would come close
To double
a-
cola?
no, well, possibly, I guess, because it is stored and it's been stored for about 10 years.
Oh my god.
I do have. I have a stout that I could.
Oh my god.
I could battle us with.
I have a
that
couple. I have a couple that if we
So
do that,
we
if
can
we
try it.
if we go down that path, oh boy. Oh boy.
We need to do a whiskey one, of course. Is what we need to do.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Hi, Lisa. Hanging out over here. Lisa's from one of my other podcasts. Good to see you.
Nice.
Yeah, she's a delight
Yeah,
and a
you got like
treat.
15 of them now.
We have a lot of podcasts. That one actually comes on in it premieres. The podcast drops at 8 p.m. tonight. So
Oh, there
I
you go.
probably need to wrap this up so I can get home.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, if you want to, if there's something you want to see or you want to join the show, throw it in the comments. I'm going to set up a new craft show email for it. If you want to be a guest on the show, we would love to have you. I think that's part of the fun. We'll coordinate times. We can work all that stuff out. We'll get regular on our live streaming. We just haven't really settled in on what time we want to do that yet. Maybe
Not
it's
yet.
Wednesday nights. Maybe it's not. That's wrestling night. I mean, that's tough. Maybe it's Thursday nights. I don't know. We'll figure it out.
We will.
All right. Well, thank you for hanging out with us. As always, if you haven't already and you just stumbled onto this 45-minute
Test.
excrement of a conversation, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it. As my buddy Ed would say, like, subscribe, share. He always does it so terrible. And then I guess the new trend is to say, and don't forget to hit that notification button. What I would do if I were you is hit the notification button so you can come be on the show. That's what I'm saying. And you can come talk to us about whatever creative endeavors you're pursuing. We want to have a convo about it. Doesn't matter what it is. That's the point of the show.
Yeah.
Anything else, Jeff? You got to wrap it up. What would you say? How would you wrap it up, Jeff?
I would say this actually was very successful. And now I've got to figure out how to do this exact setup tomorrow in Google Meet.
Oh, that's true.
So that's going to be fun. Yeah.
Yeah. Always the
Tomorrow I
challenge.
get to talk.
Yeah. Delights.
Yep. No, I thought
All right, well,
it was fun, and I'm glad that we're back.
Yeah, me too. Me too. YouTube, thank you for hanging out. Jeff, wait a couple minutes so we can finish the upload. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for hanging out. I'm killing the streams, Ray, in 3,